We can't even see them all, can we?
No, it seems to have moved on, actually.
Oh.
He says, yes, I am but one agent. I am dropped here to seek out the corruption.
You said I had this feeling of evil feeling from
You
the,
did not have an evil feeling, and you have even less the feeling now. In fact, the feeling of the presence that was thick before has disappeared with the moat into the darkness. And here, now confronted with this individual, you can feel a shard of it once again. But what you don't feel is an ill intent towards you. You can feel an absolute, thick sense of strange energy. Not dark, but influenced by unlife. If you scanned this guy, he wouldn't come up as undead. You're not sure what the fuck it is.
What affiliation is the Death Hunters?
We have no affiliation, but the source of our ability, which we do not understand. And I want to make this clear. This guy's completely chrome, made of a million little plates that slide over one another. And as he speaks, there's no like green light or anything inside his mouth. It actually just looks like a hollow black tube going down the way. Now that all said, his lips are made of all these little plates that are sliding over each other to make the phonetics, and he's still expelling air. And as he's doing this, there's a green glowing energy that seems to chuff out from between all the various plates. So as he moves around, you can literally see like the muscle structure is made up of strings of metal sliding over each other. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now alongside this, occasionally you can see whole portions of plates. And you can see there are inscriptions on them that will pulsate. They are written in Elvish as well as Common, but you can't read it for he doesn't really, they don't glow for long. You're not close enough. It's foggy, etc., etc., etc. That means perception rolls. If you want, it's a disadvantage. If you want to read the inscriptions on his plates.
Yeah, sure. I know both languages. Both 2 2s. So
okay, fantastic. You recognize letters.
I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Fantastic. As he's moving around, dictating and speaking, and seeing the wafts of the green coming off him, you can barely make out the letters and what the glyphs hidden by all the aforementioned details. That all said.
Who is your companion? Did you both come from the same place?
He looks towards Scar Lagos there.
Do I see Ketterrog there?
Yep.
I say, hey Ketterrog, how's your mommy doing?
Oh my god. Yep, it's Scar.
Do you remember what I said I would do if you ever did that again?
Is this guy legit?
Legit criminal, yes.
Oh. Criminal? Let's execute him right now.
He classifies paladins as criminals, so
This is a bad guy, vigilante.
you're probably a paladin, I would assume then.
Okay. We don't have the ear. We don't have the earpieces, eh? You can't read my mind.
What's going on, Busy?
Can you read minds?
Do I have a reason to?
Well, I mean,
You can't just say, oh, I read your mind because I have a reason to. Well, I guess you can.
You just did.
You have to,
fine. I'll just say I don't sense a malice intent in this creature, whatever it is. Machination.
The camera focuses in on the metal face as the eyes shift hue of green. They go to a lighter, and he says, "Pleasure to meet you, priest of Palor."
You know a Paler? Do you serve him?
I do not serve a deity per se. I serve all deities. I maintain balance.
Have we ever heard of these Death Hunters before?
Roll religion or history. Without a library at hand, it's a disadvantage, and it's a 20 or better.
I don't know, I might. Disadvantage?
Oh, that was so close. 15 was my highest.
15 was your highest?
Yeah.
You think
rolled
you've
good.
heard of... No, that was the other thing. No. Yeah, no. Anything?
No, I failed.
Alright, miserably. When you get into a library,
I rolled an 18.
you rolled an 18 plus bonus?
For the 18 for religion. And what was the other one? History?
Okay.
I rolled an 18 for history.
Okay, I'll mulligan this this far and say that you remember once upon a time coming upon a book that this was in like an open field. It was a rotted old book next to an old road that hadn't been traveled in years. And you found it in a bag. It was an old rotted bag, leather satchel, good quality, but eaten through by moths. What do you do? Rats and whatnot. Chewed by a deer. Who's to say? This leather book inside it, as you opened it up, it said on the cover, Gallimvor. Oh, very nice, very good. You open it up, a couple pages torn out, a couple drawings later, you're looking at something. It's got an elven common and a little drawing of some dude that looks like this. Yeah, now you remember all the details and whatnot. But you couldn't read a lot of the script there because it was all muddied from water damage and just getting chewed. This sketch was barely the thing. It just, you remember, it was colored really nice. Like it was actually colored. And you'd never seen anything like that. Actually, you know what? You tore that page out and you held on to it for a while. And then it got eaten by one of the dogs that you had on the farm at the time.
Fucking dogs.
Did this guy say there was a threat or something?
Yeah, so getting back to him, right?
So what kind of corruption is he talking about?
The metal man Othello looks upon you and says, "There's a corruption in the midst of these mountains, and I have come to find the source of it. Thus, we can find the lead
we have
to
been as
the
well.
Demi-Lich."
We have been as well. The Demi-Lich of who?
The Demi-Lich Acererak curses our lands and threatens the balance. We seek to quell the imbalance and bring peace to unlife and life.
That is what we're doing as well.
You keep
Then we shall
using
work
that word.
together to quell Acererak.
Why do you seek to bring balance between life and death, and not just exterminate death?
Because to mill is to bring energy about into new and renewed. It is important to sustain all of this planet. Toril depends on it.
But balance implies you will eventually kill the living to equal out the dead.
That's what balance means.
All things must die eventually. That energy is spun as necessary. So long as the planet controls, the balance is maintained. Acererak displaces the balance. The upheaval displaced the balance. The spell scarring displaced the balance.
So you suck
The
at your
Dale
job.
Reckoning displaced the balance. And he just goes on like that for about a moment, and you're like, what's he talking about? And you can recollect.
These are things that happened like 10 millennia ago
Yeah.
at this point. So.
Well, a couple thousand years ago, anyway. Hello, Fizzy.
Shall we escort him to the city?
How far away is your ship?
It is behind us some distance. It is inactive until such time that the moat returns.
Do you want it left there?
It does not make a difference at this time. He would say, I am neutral to its position at this time.
But others won't be. What's to stop them from taking?
He looks at you and he kind of like blinks sidelong. You are a suspicious individual. Perhaps you are you are correct. Suspicious when the... Actually, yeah, he says that because it would be robot-like and it means two things. Okay. So he says you are a suspicious individual. You may be correct. Your advice is noted. Do you have a method of retrieving my craft?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to say yes.
Let us go to my craft. Actually, yeah, you know what? A short while later, you guys are at the craft and looking upon the unit. Standing there with the winds, the troop and everybody, or do you leave them behind? Do you guys
No,
just
they're
go?
coming.
Okay. Everybody heads down to the craft. It's a large chrome sphere. You guys are staring upon it. It's at a cliff's edge on the edge of a forest, just inside the trees.
Everything's always at a cliff's edge.
It's in the mountains, that's true. Even in the middle of the city, every home is just on the edge of a cliff.
goes
The
into the
population
sides
is
of
so low
cliffs.
from people just falling off.
And it just looks like a giant sphere.
Yep.
Does it have any like markings or?
It does actually have an odd filigree of various lines running across it. It just seems to be a bunch of square lines running a pattern.
A sphere is going to be hard to transport back to the city. We could bury it.
It's actually already half buried.
Yeah, which makes it a lot easier. Yes.
And you know what? You look around, all these trees, it's just wedged. This thing is big. It's the size of this garage. It's a big marble. It would take 2 giants, 3 giants to give a shit about it. Pick it up and carry it out. And then they would have to contend with all the trees, and, well, it's just not likely that any bandits are going to come along and take this thing. And it would take all the king's horses and all the king's men to get the marble up the hill again. So,
But some little kid could come up and knock on the door and take the MacGuffin. I've seen this Disney movie before. It's fun.
Flight of the Navigator
Yes.
was a great flick. It was a great flick. I don't think there's going to be any compliance problems, the guy says. And at which point, it shows you guys walk away. That said, it's a short while later, you guys arrive at the city's gates once again. It is now 5 a.m.
I would like to, while we're walking, just get like information about Sirac and give him the information that I know about
Terrific.
them.
Over the course of your adventures, you have absolutely located several inscriptions, glyph patterns, and whatnot. The sun comes up over the horizon. Palor's light feels incredible upon your skin. The warmth covering upon you, and for the first time, the metal man next to you glows supreme with the light coming upon him. The edges barely standing out against the reflection, you watch as his metal surface suddenly shifts in color and becomes a matte, non-reflective. He's a copper skin tone as you continue to walk along. From a distance, you'd almost expect he's just dark-skinned.
So, who does he want us to talk to?
So, as you trade back and forth, details come to light, and he simply states, all of the runes that you have found thus far will point you to the final temple, thereby locating the original source where all of this local power is generated from. A Sararak requires a network that covers Toril. He is feeding on the very Earth's sustenance. We must destroy that network. We must maintain the balance.
Okay, but who does he want to talk to in the city?
Well, no, that's up to you. He
Oh.
says to you, I
Okay.
seek counsel with those in power at your home.
Then we would take him to the church.
As you come upon the city gates, 5:30-ish, the sun shining high in the sky, behind the tower, the eye of Palor, taking the light and scintillating it down upon the town, surrounding the tower up so high. Palor's sun rising up overhead. A contingent of augments walking from the library basement begin anew the day, bringing fresh books for the scribes, and old books coming back into storage, as another shipment of the books heads towards the roost. Speaking of the roost, some distance away, it shows a couple of the rabble walking out of the dragon's roost, heading off towards the barracks, and up in the window. Oh, never mind. What am I saying, actually? That's for later. So that said, you guys arrive upon the city. He looks upon you, looks upon the tower, and asks, is that the location of your council?
Yes.
Then we go there. Does Ivor protest?
I send Getty and 2 of the troops to go get Arl up. Yeah, because he's a unique one.
You said he looks like he's
Actually, here, you just pull him off.
he looks like he's tan or brown skin.
You're not using one of the lieutenants? At this point, yeah, he shifts to a matte